Well, when I was a kid, I'd take a trip every summer down to Mississippi to visit my granny in her antebellum world. And I'd run barefooted all day long, climbing trees, free as a song. One day I happened to catch myself a squirrel. Well, I stuffed it down in an old shoebox and I punched a couple of holes in the top. When Sunday came, I snuck him into church. I was sitting way back in the very last pew, showing him to my good buddy Hugh, when that squirrel got loose and went totally berserk. Well, what happened next is hard to tell. Some thought it was heaven, others thought it was hell. But the fact that something was among us was plain to see. As the choir sang, I surrendered all. The squirrel run up, knew Harmon's coveralls, and Harv leaped to his feet and said, "Something's got a hold on me." Yow! The squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. Well, Harv hit the aisles, dancing and screaming. Some thought he had religion, others thought he had a demon. And Harv thought he had a weed eater loose in his Fruit of the Looms. He fell to his knees and pleaded and begged, and the squirrel ran out of his breeches leg, unobserved, to the other side of the room. All the way down to the Emmon pew, where sat such a Bertha better than you, who'd been watching all the commotion with sadistic glee. Why, shoot, you should have seen the look in her eyes when the squirrel dumped her garters and crossed her thighs. She jumped to her feet and said, "Lord, have mercy on me." As the squirrel made leaps inside her dress, she began to cry and then to confess to things that would make a sailor blush for shame. She told of gossip in church to saints, but then they got the most attention was when she talked about her love life, and then she started naming names. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in the sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. Well, 7 deacons and the pastor got saved, and $25,000 got raised, and 50 volunteered for missions in the Congo on the spot. And even without an invitation, there were at least 500 rededications, and we all got baptized, whether we needed it or not. Now, you've heard the Bible story, I guess, how he parted the waters for Moses to pass, or the miracles God has wrought in this old world. But the one I'll remember to my dying day is how he put that church back on the narrow way, the half-breath Mississippi curl. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula. It was a fight for survival that broke out in revival. They were jumping pews and shouting hallelujah. The day the squirrel went berserk in the first self-righteous church in that sleepy little town of Pascagoula.